everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and I'm going through a series here of 20 games that changed my life, and that got me to where I'm at now, a full-time board game reviewer. And today I'm talking about a game that's probably on a lot of people's list for this, and that is Catan. Now, Catan, or as it was called when I first played the game, Settlers of Catan, was a game that I had kind of heard about a little bit. Whispers, maybe here and there. I know I read an article about it at one point. It was about that and Carcassonne, and I distinctly remember seeing the cover of Catan and thinking, that doesn't look that interesting. I saw that it had hexagons, and it was like, no, it's really good. So when I was in Korea, I had moved to Korea, and I was very heavily involved in miniatures gaming, Warhammer and Mage Knight. But I got rid of both of those and got a lot of games in back from that. And I had played a few other games that had kind of driven me to a point of I want to be more involved in board games. I'd played the new version of Cosmic Encounter, Stratego Legends, Axis and Allies Pacific and Europe, and I said, I want to play games that people like. And so I went to Board Game Geek and I ordered a bunch of games that were highly rated at that website. We got me and my friend Joe Stedman, we said, let's do this together. I'll buy one, you buy one, I'll buy this one. So I got Puerto Rico and he got Tigers and Euphrates. And one of the games I got was Settlers of Catan, which is not Catan. It's actually a Catan spin-off. It's basically a scenario of Catan. And I played it and I thought, well, this is not as boring as I thought. And so I hunted down actual Catan and got that. I was able to find a copy in Korea, and I got the 6-player expansion, and I got Roads and Boats, and I got Cities and Nights, and the 5 and 6-player expansion of those. And I remember very distinctly looking at all this stuff with happiness as I rode a subway train for an hour back from the store where I'd hunted all this stuff down. And I remember people talking about there being different versions of Catan, and it was starting to become a popular game all over the world. And I played it, and it was a revelation to me. Now, it wasn't the lightning bolt from the sky that it was for a lot of people, but there was so many concepts in this game. This trading aspect that you could do, this rolling the dice, but most importantly, other people who were not die-hard gamers, my 40K people and Mage Knight people and collectible card game people, they were interested in playing it. Even though the cover of the game was, and still is, extremely boring, this was a game that suddenly I could play with my wife or some friends from church or some of the teachers from school or just some folks who were in the neighborhood that came by. And I realized that I could use board games as something to play with people who I normally would not. My whole life had been, this is gaming and this is life. And they were kind of separate. But what this did, what Catan and other games, and I really could have put a lot of games in this slot, I'm picking Catan, but what this did was show me and say, hey, you can bring these together. When people come over for dinner, you can bring these out. Up to that point, I might hint and talk about Star Wars, and then if the person said, oh, I like Star Wars, I'm like, well, do you like collectible card games? You know, you could kind of feel, you were like always feeling people out, like, maybe we like the same thing. With Catan, I could be like, hey, you guys want to play a board game? And they would say, like Monopoly? And you would say, no, this one's different. And now 20 years later, I mean, Catan's been out since, came out in 95. It's been out for a long time now, 25 years. But at the time, this was early 2000s, 2001. It wasn't that old. A lot of people hadn't heard of it yet. And it was this revelation, and this fact that people could sit together and play games was a fascinating one to me. I was inviting people over to our house solely to play a game after we were done. It was entertaining, it was fun, and it really changed the way I looked at games. Before, I looked at games as a hobby for me. Now I looked at games as something that I could do with other people. Yes, I had done it with other people before, but now it's like, this is something for everyone. I've kind of cooled on that. I'm not sure gaming is for everyone, but I think almost everyone will find a board game that they can enjoy. And Catan is the thing that taught me to that. And now, Catan had me down the road. Miniature games, collectible card games were things of the past. Now I wanted to play more and more board games. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see y'all next time.